Please, you can take any mic. All right, good luck.
All right. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Amazing. I don't remember making so many partnerships and I don't remember restoring so many friendships, making so many partnerships and getting contacts to the highest level of government in some country in such a short time ever. To be honest with you, it's one of the most exciting conferences for me, and thank you very much for inviting me here, because this is a great country. This is 50% better country than I expected. I'm also first time in Georgia, so I'm very excited that we have such a great team, and we have to recognize Samuela for lobbying for our recognition and for partnerships here. Now for how long? Quite a year and a half, yeah, but she has done a great job, organized I don't know how many meetups, started a podcast, Liberland podcast here in Georgia, organized so many great meetings already. So I wish we had representation like this in every country. We would probably already get globally recognized last year if we had that. But anyway, I'm not sure if everybody knows what we're doing. We're building a freest country and least bureaucratic country on this planet, utilizing the latest blockchain technologies. That's exactly what we're doing. Our territory is 7 square kilometers between Croatia and Serbia. It's a beautiful plot of land. And for 8 years, I've been lecturing about our territory without having an access to it. 2 months ago, we started to build there. So it's a completely different situation, which is very exciting. I lost 10 kilos while driving the bike from Marina over there to the center over there, where we're building the main headquarters of Liberland right now. And it's a lot of action. Now, we also settled Liberty Island, which is being developed, especially in this part. And we have some pretty cool plans for making the biggest adventure park. We have a great partner for it, building a couple hotels. And there are also guys that are planning to build the highest building in the world. It's a hedge fund from United States. So it's kind of cool when you establish and we just put up a vision of building a free country. How many people joined the vision? We've got now 730,000 people that applied for citizenship of Liberland. We've got some 7,000 e-residents and 1,000 citizens out of that, which is a serious group of doers that were able to put up some energy, some serious form of energy to become citizens and help Liberland forward. So, yeah, that's the introduction. A little bit about the ideology, back to it. We really value individual freedom and individual property. The whole constitution has been designed with utmost care of property and individual rights. We really believe this is what makes America a strong country. We are just trying to follow up the great examples of Thomas Jefferson, how he structured the country, and the founding fathers of the United States. That's why the country was actually established on 13th of April 2015. That was the birthday of Thomas Jefferson. I just came from ALEC, which is one of the most influential Republican organizations that are putting together congressmen and senators from the United States. For them, the legacy of Thomas Jefferson is also very important. We found multiple levels of collaboration on the highest level with the Republican Party. And yes, it's not a coincidence. Really, Liberland is following all sorts of policies that Thomas Jefferson was suggesting. Even neutrality of the country is actually derived from a Jeffersonian foreign policy as he devised it. But not just United States. You can also see we've got elements from Switzerland, and that is a direct democracy element where the majority of society can get rid of any law that they don't like. So it's important. We're not democracy where majority can put any law into power, because that always leads to more redistribution, bigger state budget, more regulations, because the majority always tries to squeeze the minority. But the majority, I think, is really good at getting rid of the laws, like in Switzerland, where the public veto is a critical element in making sure there is not too many laws in the Swiss system of governance. And then Liechtenstein is a great example, where I would say, close to Prince Hans Adam. He already told me that he will be excited to sit next to Liberland in UN in the future. He wrote this great book, The State in Third Millennia, where he also put together quite a few great ideas how the state should be organized. including the fact that in Liechtenstein, for example, any village can declare sovereignty and become a small state. No village has done it in Liechtenstein so far because I think he's doing a great job. But we have a similar idea in relations to network states. And the policy for collaboration with network states has been just designed by our Justice Ministry yesterday. I have it on the table. But this is basically taken from the Liechtenstein ideas of allowing the regions in Liberland to be as sovereign entities as well under certain rules. And Singapore, I think, is a great example of very successful sovereign country that has made it just based on the fact that the state doesn't mingle too much with the private sector, that the taxes are very low, and the system of governance is very straightforward, as well as the system of justice. So those are great examples of what we are trying to be better at even than these jurisdictions, and hopefully we will succeed. And what I like that from that perspective, Liberland is the single most ideologically empowered nation since the Roman Empire. That's how we were labeled, one of the famous YouTube channels that was trying to describe us a couple years back. So we're building on that. What is very important about our governance is that Liberland is basically a big DAO. And whenever you pay taxes, you become member of this DAO. In order to become a voting member of the DAO, you have to have minimum 5,000 merits as your input into the society. But you can also become citizen with less merits. You know, if you're trying to help Liberland for some time, we also give people citizenship for less merits if they stay long enough with us. Now, the fastest track to citizenship is help us settle Liberland. If you stay 25 days in Liberland and you build something, preferably your house there, or you help us with the local communities, you also get the citizenship in 25 days. So this is the fastest track. And this voluntary tax system, again, you don't have to pay any taxes in Liberland whatsoever. It's up to you. The only tax which we are potentially considering having is a land tax. So whenever there would be people that wouldn't take care of their property inside of Liberland, and they wouldn't, I don't know, whatever, cut the grass, or their houses would be falling down because they would be crazy. We would have a way to get rid of them by raising some property taxes, which if they wouldn't pay, we would be able to put their properties into auction. But this is the only obligatory tax that we are actually considering in Liberland because of the scarcity of the land. But otherwise, it's kind of cool, right? Like everybody talks about citizens being shareholders of their country, kind of, but it's not true. You don't really have any title whatsoever to the country that you're living in. You have one voting right, and it doesn't matter how much helpful you are in that country or how much is helpful. Person that have stolen $20 million from the state budget has the same voting right like a person that just paid $20 million in taxes. And I think this is something that we need to fix with Liberland. We need to make sure that the incentives are in alignment. That instead of bribing politicians, you're much better off paying more taxes to have more influence in our political system. So this corporation that runs Liberland is called the Congress. It's a very competitive way. It's elected by the people that have paid taxes in Liberland, but there are other institutions like the public veto, which I have mentioned, or there is also Liberland Senate, which is something like House of Lords, which also only can get rid of the laws, which I think is very important. So basically the Liberland government is in check by both democracy as well as kind of House of Lords, or we call it the Senate in Liberland system. And as I told you, everything has been already programmed. We're just finalizing the justice system. I was very excited to get 2 more developers here like 5 minutes ago on board. We've got some great security experts also from Georgia. We've got even a guy that was living on Liberland passport for more than a year, no other passport, and he just moved to Georgia, also permanently, but we have him on the team. So we have quite a few connections here, and I'm very excited to meet all these people now. We are finalizing, or we just finished the audit of the whole governance. So what I've just told you, all these elements of governance, they're all part of this DAO. They're part of all this blockchain. So there can be no discussion if the elections were rigged or not, because this is a trustless system of smart contracts that make sure that nobody can basically steal from the budget, that nobody can cheat the elections, etc. We have done it together with Parity. We are building it on Rust. It's a similar code like Polkadot, but we have otherwise nothing to do with Polkadot itself. We just thought that this was one of the best proof of stake systems that we could use to make Liberland happen. And in our system, we've got elections every 3 months, but the cool thing is that you can also decide to remove your support from your congressman anytime you want. Any minute you want, you can take your votes back and you can vote directly with your merits, which is pretty cool, I think. So the congressman that gets elected is there for 3 months, like a person, but it doesn't mean he doesn't lose his power to vote in new legislation if you no longer trust him, which I think is also important. In a normal country, you have to wait, 2, 4, 5 years to elect somebody out, but in Liberland, you can do it any minute, and the person, okay, they have some certainty that they will stay at least 3 months, so we can send our congressmen as foreign delegations to other countries, and they are not going to lose the seat while they talk with other government. But on the other hand, they have to be very good in what they're doing in order to keep the seat for next elections. But that doesn't also mean that there will be huge changes in Congress. So there is no reason why people should change their mind about who is going to represent them in Congress. But there is a great way to get rid of people that wouldn't fulfill on their promises that they had during the campaign. I already talked about the public veto. And I think this is great. Just let me expand a little bit more on it. For example, if a majority of society doesn't like the president, it's also a great way you can remove him. Right now, it's been programmed, so if majority of citizens didn't like the president, they can remove him anytime. They can remove any person that works for government, actually, by public veto, and those institutions that they have to go and re-elect that person or choose some other person in order to break that public veto. I think it's a pretty cool system to give the democracy ability to remove any law or any person that majority of society doesn't like. The judiciary system is something which I'm very proud of. It's a great system, also smart contract, basically a market of judges, and I just met one of the very highly ranking judge here in Georgia that was interested in becoming part of that. We've got people from international arbitration courts that want to work there. So you'll be able to choose your judge for any court case in Liberland. The first is arbitration, it's obligatory, but then if I'm just going to speed it up a little bit, but if two parties agree on one judge within the system, they choose the judge. It's cheaper. If they don't agree on the same judge, they each choose judge from the system, and those two judges choose a third judge. And then the triumvirate of 3 judges decides about the court case. It's all on blockchain. Everything is connected also to the merit system, so everybody is accountable. We have just launched it. It's a lot of fun. We have quite a few diplomatic relationships already established. 8 years I've been running around the world without access to Liberland territory while we were doing a lot of humanitarian work. I was actually just at the UN. I got some recognition from there. We established our mission in European Parliament. We have this is the mission with Alec. A lot of US men, congressmen, and senators are pushing for recognition of Liberland in different US states. This is from El Salvador, meeting with the Minister of Economy, one of our latest diplomatic trips. We were also rewarded at the UN not too long ago. That was very nice that they recognized our humanitarian activity in the UN headquarters. We are building everything right now also in metaverse. Before things get to be built physically, we ask the designers and architects to put things and the buildings in metaverse. We don't have the website here, but it's liberverse.net if you want to check it out. Because we're building physically, we don't put too much attention, but it would be great if we got a couple people that want to help us develop the metaverse, because I think it's a great technology. We're already running on multiple platforms, including pixel streaming, and it's all open source. Anybody can join this project and help us make the Liberland metaverse very cool. For us, it's basically urban design and land register at the same time, and it's all Unreal Engine, so it's very high graphics. We've got the support of Zaha Hadid architects as well, but we're at this stage where we're developing Liberland territory from scratch inside of metaverse, and we are literally copying the real situation into metaverse in order to just see how Liberland will look in the next phase of development. We're inviting now casinos. There is a museum of illusions that is coming in. So anything that also makes economically sense that can run in the metaverse, we're very open for collaboration. Settlement of Liberland, if you're coming to Liberland, we also are having a bunch of resorts around the territory. There is an Ark Village, so you're very welcome to stop by there. If you, for example, cannot go to Schengen, Schengen is kind of requirement for you to access Liberland right now safely. If you don't have it, it's a bit problematic. But if you are coming from Serbia, for example, as a Russian citizens, you can do that, but you have to go to Serbia first. And this is our land register. You can see the bunch of properties that are being developed. This is the, let's say, the presidential residence that we are restoring after it was demolished by Croatians 6 years ago. This is from Liberland Marina. You can see we've got already a bunch of nice houseboats. The middle one is really nice for weddings, up to 150 people. It has a great bar, great vibe. You can visit from next weekend on. It was for some service in Serbia, now it's back. Yeah, we're getting, this was the first building that we built 1 month ago. Again, this is from the marina. This is the boat that we're getting for transporting the people and cars and machinery in and out of Liberland, that you have a little bit more idea. This is from the Liberland Hotel. Very nice project as well. Requires $10 million of investment. We just found a location for it. You can see the whole nice promo video online. We're working with the locals. The biggest football team locally has just changed the dresses to visit Liberland. They run into big problems with the mayor of the city, so they had to take them off for now. But I think they're going to put them on next week again, because I think we are very close of helping this soccer team to move to next stage. And I think it would be great to have them as a national team of, anyway. So see you in Liberland. There are a bunch of events. There is a longevity in November, a big event and investment. We have just like literally an hour ago made partnership with this venture fund that is also the main partner for this conference. So they're coming to help us organize this longevity/investment conference in November. There is every single weekend something happening. So if you want to visit a new country during its birth phase, you're very welcome to join us. Yeah, this is from the Floating Man Festival, which is happening every summer. I think next year it's going to be huge because we also just partnered with the organizer of biggest festivals in Balkans, Exit. So I'm expecting their support. I'm expecting like 4,000 or 5,000 people to come. Yeah, and it's very easy to become citizen of Liberland or e-resident. It just takes a couple minutes. You fill it up online, liberland.org, and yeah, just find some way to help us move forward. It doesn't have to necessarily be finances, even though I think Liberland is a great investment right now as well, because we're just about to go to exchanges. We haven't needed to issue any tokens because there has been such a strong push for existence of Liberland without it. But now when Liberland tokens will be listed on Huobi and KuCoin and Binance, I think the opportunity there is great. So it just makes sense to somehow become part of the ecosystem. So that's it. That's it from me. Thank you very much again for hosting us. And yeah, we have a meetup also, but I think it's going to be packed. So I'm not sure if we can fit anybody else. But okay. So.
Thank you everyone for coming. We would love to invite you today at 6:30 to terminal at Access Tower at Čavčavaze Street. There's no registration required. The space is for about 40-50 people. I think we're full, but come anyway because we can network as well and you can learn something more about Liberland if you're interested in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, and you know, I'll give some merits to the organizers of this conference. It's a great event, really.
Thank you very much. Very interesting case.